you want by simply understanding that and learning how to manipulate it, becoming proficient at manipulating your own perceptions and perspectives, and if you really want to get advanced, manipulating others. We're at a point on this timeline with a lot of tension. We're internationally conflicting with other nations because of perception and perspective. As a country, we are divided also because of those perceptions and those perspectives and the influence of others as far as creating a conflict based on those perceptions and perspectives. And I honestly can't think of another time in my personal history that there's been this much tension. It's been close. I think the whole presidential election was close. And I think that's where it all started. And it's kind of a result of that election. We have a president in office that is not an ideal leader. It's not what I would classify as a responsible leader. I wouldn't even really call him a leader. I think that's a stretch. I think the role implies leadership, but I've seen a lot of people take roles that imply leadership that are not good leaders. And right now, I honestly cannot believe that we are being split down the middle as occupants of the country over something as simple as a gesture. And I can go on and on and on about my philosophical stance on all of this. It's irrelevant. It's my perception, it's my perspective. I don't feel like I'm doing enough of what I should be doing to remedy it. And me being me and having the mentality, the personality that I do, I'm easily angered, I'm easily frustrated, I'm prone to rage, and I am drawn say that is I believe, because I have no proof, I can't hand you something and say this is the way it is. I have a belief that this reality was founded on certain principles. I also have a belief that this reality was created for experience. And in this unique reality, we can visit, revisit countless times. And you can experience the same experience every single time if you choose. But you can experience or choose to experience something different every single time. Now, this concept of perception and perspective allows for that. It allows flexibility. It allows for chaos to a certain extent. You could come in to this reality time after time after time after time with the exact same intent and never repeat the same results. It comes down to influence. It comes down to the very fluid capacity of perception and perspective. And free will, the choice. And to me, that's one of the beauties of this reality, and it's one of the things that I think needs to be protected. The bad thing is we can get caught up in it. It's one of the attributes and one of the dangers of humanity. And I really felt like pretty much through my whole life, this calendar physical life that I am currently actively engaged in, we have been right on the cusp of termination. Whether from outside forces or internally. I really feel like we've been on a very fine line. Because our technology, one, has evolved to the point where it's dangerous. But I can't say we haven't evolved. I can't say the human race hasn't evolved, because we have. But there's inherent qualities of human nature, which, like I just talked about, they're here. They have a purpose, and it's one of the beauties of this design. Unfortunately, I think as a race we're losing faith. We're losing connection to spirituality. It's hard to find a term that isn't, it's so subjective. I mean, they're all really subjective. system, I frown upon, because it adds a certain rigidity to something that should be fluid. And if it doesn't have the ability to adapt and evolve, then it's doomed. And we're seeing people that are trapped in an outdated concept, an outdated belief system, an outdated religion, and they're making very aggressive stances based on that. That's been going on for centuries. Again, part of the beauty of this reality. Governments, we've got, again, a structured entity that people are rooted in, that same thing. It's the exact same thing. There's no difference whatsoever between the belief in a government and the belief in a religion. If the ideas and the philosophies are not fluid and flexible and allow for adaptation, then it's doomed. And there's a large number of people out there that believe in what I'm talking about to one extent or another. But it's definitely the minority. And I've talked about this before, because I have this ability to see these things. And a lot of times I can't explain them. A lot of times I don't even want to try to explain them. And I really feel like it would be pointless, because by the time I've explained it, it may have already changed. By the time you grasp what I'm conveying, it's no longer the same. That's hard to explain, but this is always a very difficult process, especially at this level.
New SMS from Evan. Press Uconnect phone, but do you want to read?
More distractions. People have been prophesizing the end of the world for as far back as humanity can track. It's a concept and a possibility that is inherent to this reality. I think but that possibility is always there, and we're always, riding on that cusp, and we've always been able to recover. I think patterns indicate the times of highest probability. I would say, based on my system of belief, on my assessment of our reality, and understanding patterns and cycles, that there's always going to be patterns of what the good terminology would be. It's going to be periods where things are more likely, less likely. Where's my fucking map? Can't see any. Looks like somebody. Oh, it's on that side. There's all that stuff. This almost looks like a writ of eviction here behind me. Looks like somebody had all their stuff put out on the lawn. Alright, so in these patterns and these cycles, there's always going to be times of going against the grain and going with it, with the current. There's going to be times where I'm trying to think of a good metaphor, a good analogy to use that makes this have more sense. I would say people that predict apocalyptic events are seeing a pattern, and they're seeing a climax in that pattern, which makes an event more likely. So if the conditions are right, that period in time would be like a catalytic point. It would be the point where you had gasoline and oxygen and some type of combustible material and an ignition source. Everything fits together all at once. There's the possibility of a fire, an explosion, something. I don't see any reason why our reality shouldn't be viewed the same way. So when someone says, all right, the world is going to end on this date of this year, it's possible that they're in tune to these patterns and these cycles. And fortunately, those have come and gone without all of those factors coming together. But we're treading on dangerous ground, where we are allowing very insignificant catalysts to have an impact on us at a very deep level, and that's dangerous. That's what I'm seeing right now. It's what I'm sensing is I'm seeing danger. And when all this is going on, I can feel the tension in the air. It's almost suffocating. And there are times, like yesterday, where I'm like, hey, I don't even want to watch it anymore. Just maybe it's run its course. Maybe it is time to be done. And how do you get people to see the bigger picture? I mean, I even struggle with it. And the word that came to mind as I was driving this morning was shallow. And that phrase, that term, has been used for, again, a long time, and means what it means. You don't have a lot of depth. You focus on very trivial, insignificant things. And we as a race have become more and more shallow. I feel like the drifting away from the organized religions is necessary. It has to be done, because it's creating, again, so much conflict based on outdated systems. Again, it's everything else has changed, everything else has evolved. That belief system has to change and has to evolve as well. And there would still be conflict, a difference of opinion, but it wouldn't be as extreme. But in drifting away from those organized religions, where people are cutting ties completely with any kind of spiritual connection, with any kind of understanding of who they are or where they came from. And again, it's the only term I can come up with is shallow. We are becoming more and more and more shallow. And I even see it in my own humanity. As much as I'm trying to find the depths of myself, find the depths of my source, draw other people's attention to the idea of depth, of finding something deeper within themselves to believe in, to continue to move forward. Even when I'm looking at that stuff, and sometimes I can't get past the obvious. And this is what I'm talking about specifically. I make these recordings. They average anywhere from 15 to 40 minutes. And that's average. I have some that are longer, I have some that are shorter. I would say 15 to 40 minutes based on my subject matter, my windows of opportunity to record, and how long I can talk about one subject to a certain... That's 15 to 40 minutes of recording that's out there. Now again, I've never drawn any attention to them except for a few people. Hey, this is there, and I'm not trying to get them to watch them or view them or log in or spend any time trying to understand what I'm saying. But even the ones that have gone in, that know me and have maybe watched a video or two, I mean, I get the analytics back. I see how many times a video is watched. I see how long it was viewed, and none of them have ever been viewed to the end. So I started thinking about that and thinking about myself. I never view anything to the end. I have very short attention span when it comes to certain things. And I may be drawn in, 100% full blown for a period of time, but eventually my interest will decline. And even if I watch it all the way to the end, which the likelihood of that decreases as I'm watching it, because I'm starting to think about other things, my mind's starting to wander. I'm like, you can't convey the amount of energy and information needed to convey what I'm talking about in a context and in a period of time that is digestible or observable by others. They're going to lose interest. And it really struck me this morning, the beauty of Twitter, with a restriction on how many words you can put in a tweet. There's a beauty in that, because it draws so many people in, because that's what they want. They want something that's quick, they want something that's fast, they want to be able to read it and move on. And when I first got on there, I was like, you just can't put enough content in here. You can't put enough content in here. Why this bothers me. You can't put enough content in here. But if the content was there, it would be passed over. Nobody would look at it. It's just, again, human nature. It's they want it, and we've really become, again, more shallow. We want it quick. We don't want to look deep into the well. We want to see a summary of what's there and say, all right, yeah, great, or no, not interested. But we want to take that shallow, abbreviated, abridged assessment, and we want to make life-changing decisions based on that without looking at any of the depth. And this is where I'm seeing the problem right now. We've got this conflict in the country about football players kneeling for the national anthem. I think this is one of the dumbest things that I think I have ever heard of in the existence of humanity. And there are people out there that are so worked up, and I've been looking at the polls, and it's pretty fucking even. It's like right down the middle. You get 2 or 3% that are undecided or on the fence or have no comment, and you're looking at 47 to 48% on either side, 48 to 46, 45 to 47. You're just, it's always fluctuating, but it's almost dead even of people on one side and people on the other side, and they are adamantly on those sides. And I find myself drawn to one side more than the other, and I find myself getting angry and getting frustrated and wanting to, I've talked about it over and over and over again. I can't say it enough. I want to fight about it. I want to physically punch somebody in the fucking face for their opposing belief system. And this is being perpetuated by our leader, the guy that is in. This is a nationwide conflict. This doesn't really stretch outside of the United States. Who the fuck in the world cares whether an athlete protesting a social injustice by kneeling during a tribute to a symbol, whether they care whether that symbol's being respected or not, it has nothing to do with them. It's strictly an issue with this country alone, and it's isolated in that matter. But it has consequences, because people are getting so worked up in this conflict that they're carrying that anger, that frustration, and that conflict out into the world and trying to cause more issues, cause more. I don't want to say cause more, but they're feeling fired up. They're feeling this rage, and I can attest to rage being addictive. They're feeling this rush of rage, and they're wanting to reach out and carry out conflict in other parts of the world because of, it's stemming from here. And I've recorded about this before when I've gotten to points like this. One, I don't know how to change it. And two, I don't know if I want to. But I know this, nothing is going to change until the leadership changes. A leader should inspire others and help people understand their differences. You don't have to see eye to eye with everybody. Again, I think that difference in perception and perspective is one of the key factors in this reality. I don't want to see that eliminated. I don't want to see everybody on the same page, everybody agreeing with something, but without a respect for the opposing side's view, especially on really trivial matters like a fucking flag and kneeling, and really this is fucking stupid. It's dumb. Why waste that much time and energy on something so insignificant? There are so many actual injustices in this world. You're going to take a stance on that. And the so-called leader is spearheading the whole thing. That's like a fucking kindergarten teacher out on a playground instigating two kids to duke it out over a marble game or something. I mean, it's that trivial. And he's not doing anything that a leader should do. He's not doing anything to try and help people move past it. Take some of the fire out of that. He's fanning those flames. Irresponsible at the least. Straight out criminal at the most. So I don't know. I got shit to do, and that's enough for me right now.